Just got done watching 13 Reasons Why. 13 Reasons Why. And at first, it was kind of hard to keep up with it in the beginning. This hat says, "Enjoy death." This is the hat that I got from Tavi. It's ironic. When I watch that, I see a girl who's too deep for the world. And she has a lot of thoughts. And I don't think she knows how to process them or deal with them entirely before she does that. I mean, she wasn't even out of high school yet. She didn't even know what she wanted to do before she did that. And it's really, really sad. I know like it's just a TV show, but this happens a lot. People do this a lot. And when they're that young, too. And when I watch that, a part of me, sure, when somebody dies, a lot of people are partially to blame if somebody commits suicide. But you can't blame people for not being able to read your mind or for being human. Because we're all human and we deal with things in the best way we can, I guess, or for doing what you tell them to do. I feel like she already had a bitter view of people and things, and a part of why she killed herself was out of bitterness. She let them get to her. But I understand her. I understand her very well. Yeah, what she did wasn't smart, but I don't think she was a coward, and I don't think that she's just being over dramatic. I get it. I understand. And a lot of people will say that, or a lot of people in the story try to deflect that and to say that that was the case. But they knew that they did something wrong too, and they were also trying to hide it. They were saying, oh, she's being dramatic. These are all of her problems, but then they were trying to, cover up any little thing they did wrong. And in the real world, I have to wonder if people would really care that much. People sometimes don't notice the way that they treat you until you die. We wait and we take others for granted because we're prisoners of time.
Prisoners of time. Prisoners of time. Prisoners of time.
And I understood Hannah's character because I related a lot to her character. Yeah, but I understand what she did, the messages that she left behind for people. I feel like and this is crazy, but I feel like if I were to do something like that, not in tapes, but in letters and notes, it would be a lot to prepare. I feel like, sadly, when she was alive, nobody wanted to hear her truth. And I remember at the end, an Asian girl said, "Hannah's truth is not my truth." And it got me thinking. It made me realize that one person's truth is not my truth, or even the truth at all. How defensive people are to detract themselves from guilt. We as humans do this all the time. We always talk about being so real, but we're afraid to be real. We walk on eggshells to dance from the truth. People are afraid of the truth, and people will do whatever they can to defend themselves. They will twist the truth. I think it's because we all have jaded perspectives, clouded by our own reasoning. We process each new scenario based off of old scenarios. So even if we're around new people, we have a specific view of the world based on the things that we've been around. So again, you never really know what somebody else is going through. You only have your perceptions based on previous perceptions of yourself, of life, other people, your assumptions. Here's the thing about life is you can't prevent people from hurting you, from thinking what they think about you. Whoa. Can't prevent people from not loving you. Can't get everything you want in life. Can't control it. You can try to control how you feel about it and do your best, but it doesn't always mean it goes that way. So sometimes you just have to say fuck it, and go live for the moment, the journey, to find happiness, to look for happiness. You have to, I think, then begin to look for meaning and to enjoy the present moment. You have to change things up a little bit, to say what you mean and what you feel, and be fearless. Be fucking fearless as you wait out the clock on your life. I will say that there's differences between me and Hannah, and that's that she handles things a bit differently than me. She's stronger and braver than me in some aspects. She's also weaker in some aspects. Depending on how you want to put it, in ways that she's brave or weak, I could never bring myself to end my life. I mean, I'm too afraid to even get high. I got high the other day, and I was absolutely terrified. And it makes me feel pathetic. It makes me feel pathetic to think, oh, you're too much of a pussy to ever do that. And sometimes I feel like ending my life would make things better. Like, it just would. And it might finally change things that no action while I was living in the present ever could. But for as many curses as I feel or don't feel that I was born with, I was also lucky enough to come out and get to experience life. I'm lucky enough to be conscious, writing these words, speaking them. So at least, and if it's flawed, I get to experience consciousness, even if it is flawed. And sometimes I feel like, yeah, sure, I got here by some scientific coincidence, but it doesn't mean I'm cut out for this. What if I don't make it and I'm not good enough and I can't do it? But at my very last breaths, I would probably try to get up and do something that I love doing and think to myself, damn it, I need to do this, or I wanted to go do that, or I never got to say this. I would be absolutely terrified at the last few minutes of my life, thinking, perhaps wanting to reverse it, and say, I do get lucky, and someone did find me. Should I be happy that someone did and I get a second chance? I mean, I would assume that person would feel like they were born again, right? Or would I regret it because now everybody thinks I'm crazy and nothing has changed, but only gotten worse? There are a lot of people that think like this, and my theory on this is that life ends eventually. So why put yourself through pain now, something you might regret, severely regret? You have the ability to do absolutely anything you want to do and say, fuck it. There are people that need to realize sticking around even for just one more Saturday morning cartoon or one more good book, one more creation, one more conversation, one more text, one more walk down the street, one more cuddle with your pet, one more episode, one more cigarette, one more drink, one more dance. Don't be brave enough to end it. Be brave enough to stand up and ask for help. And I think, to be completely frank, we should all be much better to each other. We should try to understand what each other is going through, to care about each other as our own individuals, not use each other and have ulterior motives, to love each other. And I think it's our duty to give a shit how we treat other people. It's our duty to do the best that we can, and when we know somebody is suffering, to speak up and to try to tell them these things. To not kick people when they're down. To be considerate, to have enough decency and an ounce of brains to ask somebody how they're doing, to say I love you, to show you care about people. I feel like it's something that's extra nice, but a requirement to be a part of the human race, to be loving towards each other and to give a shit about other human beings. Doesn't mean you have to spend every waking moment, concerned and trying to please people all the time. No, that's not what that means. Obviously, you have to love yourself first and focus on yourself, but I think it just means being a good human being and being a decent human being and to think of others. I don't want younger girls to watch that show and think, oh, this is cool, look at her. All these people are worried about her now. All these people care about her now, and they're sorry for what they did and they regret treating her like that. You should never need or want to take your life so that other people can care about you. That is so fucked up to give them that power. They don't deserve that. You don't deserve that at all. I don't want girls or guys, or I don't want anybody to think that that's a way of getting people to care. It should never come to that. It does get better. It gets better. You wait a year or two or less or even a day and anything could happen. Something could happen. You never know. And the same thing that you're sad about could be so stupid minutes from now, years from now. And you could say, wow, I'm so happy. I can't believe I was even worried about that. Or why was I worried about that person? Why was I upset about this? That was nothing. I'm so over it now. You look back at things with a new perspective. And I know it doesn't make waiting for it to be over any easier. But there are things you can do in the time being to make it a lot easier. And I think a lot of that is where hobbies and passions come in. And for me, that's music. I mean, if I didn't have music, I wouldn't still be here. Like, I know that. I know that. I remember 3 or 4 years ago when I was in New York. I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up. This subject is just, it cuts me pretty deep. The love of my life, the first love of my life, we ended things. He called me 2 weeks after I moved there and wanted to end things. Said I just can't do it. I can't do it longer. I didn't see it from his perspective at the time. Me moving away, wanting to move away so badly to pursue my music, and him probably thinking, well, no, that matters more to her. I need her around, or, she's focused on herself, or I don't know what he was thinking, but I had to get out of here because I was suicidal and depressed, and I needed to pursue my dreams because, I don't know, I was just in a really bad place, and I felt like my only chance of being happy was to be successful. I was really stupid at the time and still finding myself. I mean, I wasn't stupid. I'm a very intelligent girl, but I was still figuring out what was right and wrong and still finding myself. But I remember being so heartbroken because, I wanted to end up with that person. I saw a picture of them with another girl, and I thought to myself, this girl's so much prettier than me. He's with her now. I'm nothing. She's so much more basic looking than I am. She's more plain than me. She's more well put together. She's not as weird as me. She's not as dark and exotic as me. She's better than me. And I couldn't live with that. I couldn't live with that fact of knowing that or thinking that. I remember being on the subway. I was so sad. I was sitting at the edge of the train tracks. I was sitting like as if I could just hop down, and nobody's supposed to stand past the yellow line. I didn't really know the rules at the time, but I was sitting there dangling my feet, being careless because I was just so sad and so in my head. Some woman yelled at me and said, "Hey, you can't sit there." And I'm like, mind your own business. Why are you giving me shit right now? I'm already having a bad day. These 2 police officers came up to me and took me away, and I had to call my mom, and I didn't want my mom to freak out. I guess they thought that, I might jump or something like that. And I just kind of told my mom, like, I didn't really know, which I didn't. I didn't really know. I was just sitting there being reckless, but at the same time, like, yeah, I knew that wasn't right, but I had to call my mom. She was cool about it. She understood. She didn't think anything of it, but I was all upset and crying, and I think the cops ended up driving me to... They didn't drive me home. I think they drove me to get a cab or something. And I was like, now I'm going to have to end up paying for a cab. This day just keeps getting worse. Like, I wanted to save money. I don't know. I think back to that moment, and I feel really sad. I feel really sad about... I feel bad about it. I feel bad about myself. I feel embarrassed. But I am so happy that a train didn't come, or I didn't jump, or, I didn't do that. I thought for so long that I wouldn't be anything unless I looked pretty enough. If somebody didn't love me, that I wasn't good enough, and I couldn't live with myself not being good enough. Maybe they would love me if I were super successful. I couldn't live with myself unless I were super successful and really making it in what I did. And I thought to myself, if I don't make it in what I'm doing, that means I'm a failure and I wasn't good enough, and I'll have to kill myself. Like, living with knowing the fact that I failed or was a failure made me want to kill myself, because I couldn't live with knowing I failed, or I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't perfect, or there are many, many reasons. I'm really happy that I didn't do that, because things are a lot easier now and my perspective has changed. Things are better. And there are times where I think, oh, it would be easier, if I did this now, I wouldn't have to deal with the pain of a heartbreak or the pain of, not having my life figured out, or the pain of knowing I won't be able to make it in the real world. Yeah, the option's always there. Death is always an option, but why do it now? Life gets better, it gets easier. And the now part might suck, but now is the part where you experiment and you have fun. Like, you care anyway, just do something weird and different. Pursue something that you love doing or you want to get better at. There are no rules to life, and it doesn't mean you're failing. Like, you might not have a lot of money, or you might be in between jobs right now, or going through family problems, or heartbroken, or hate yourself, or you're super depressed. But if you add a passion or a hobby or find something you enjoy doing, there is nothing stupid out there if you enjoy doing it. It's not stupid if you enjoy doing it. Don't let anybody judge you. People are going to judge you, trust me. People have judged me many times for doing the one thing that has really been there for me in hard times and kept me sane. There are so many people that are going to fucking judge you, but be there for yourself. Love yourself even more. Be your own best friend. These are the times, this moment now, when things are hard and you're going through this and you feel like killing yourself or ending your life or not having to live anymore would be easier. What you need to do now is to put yourself into something you love doing. Find something that you love doing. Do anything just to fucking experiment and go out and just look for happiness. Look for meaning. Force yourself to change your way of thinking as a test for a day. Do not allow yourself to think any negative thoughts. Don't allow yourself to think about anything negative that you don't want to think about. Don't think about anyone, any person, anything about yourself, any situation that causes you to think negatively. You're not allowed to think about it. Try it for 72 hours. Try it. And that one day can change your whole perspective on life, because that is precious. It's not about other people. It's not about what other people think about you. It's not about you. Personal relationships are important, don't get me wrong. But the value in yourself and what you love doing will never let you down, and will keep you alive. Will give you something to look forward to. Will give you something to wake up and do every day. And you think, maybe I can't find that, or what if I can't find it, or I'm not good at anything? Go find it. Go experiment, have fun, and distract yourself if you have to from the shitty things that you're going through, because it does get better, and it will. So just hang on. Life ends eventually, so why make it sooner than it needs to be?